Hi, here are the answers to the quiz number 12. Sorry, my hat's gone all wonky. Don't know what's going on there. Right, quiz number 12, answers. That's my to-do list. Answers, here we go. So I asked you the second highest, second biggest, second longest, all of those. The world's second highest mountain is K2. Also in the Himalaya alongside Everest. There is some debate as to whether Everest and K2 might be sort of doing this, which is to do with snow levels and plate tectonics and stuff like that. But generally speaking, generally acknowledged, Everest is the higher. Question 2. Second man on the moon, Buzz Aldrin. He followed Neil Armstrong. Question 3. The second largest freshwater lake, remember we weren't including the Caspian Sea, so the largest is Superior, which is on the border of Canada and the USA. Second largest is Victoria in Africa, down somewhere near Kenya, Tanzania, I think. Question 4. The second president of the USA was John Adams, came after George Washington. And question 5. The second most densely populated nation is Singapore. Monaco is the first most densely populated nation. Macau in China is actually more densely populated than Monaco. However, it's not a UN recognized nation. It's a territory within China. So I asked you about these Andrew Lloyd Webber affairs. So I played you the extract from The Apartment. That theme features very heavily in Love Never Dies. And also prior to that in The Beautiful Game, in the song Our Kind of Love. Andrew Lloyd Webber actually reused his own song in the later musical. I then asked you to name the two pieces of music that were inspired. So half a point for Beautiful Game, half a point for Love Never Dies. Question 7, I asked you to name the two songs that were inspired by the piano pieces. Dee dee dum dee da dum dee dum dum dee da dum ba dee dum dee da da. Love Changes Everything. Love Changes Everything from Aspects of Love. Couldn't remember them for a second. Is the first. And the second, this is interesting. It's not immediately obvious until you sing it over the top, which I will now attempt to do for your edification. It won't be easy, you'll think it's strange when I try to explain how I feel, that I still need your love after all that I've done. You won't believe me, all you will see is a girl you once knew, although she's dressed up to the nines while she's wearing a hat at 6s and 7s with you, so you get the idea. It's Don't Cry For Me, Argentina. The melody obviously isn't there, but the chord structure is absolutely the Well-Tempered Clavier, Bach. So, yeah. Question 8. I played you those two tunes that together make the music of the night. The first was Brigadoon by Lerner and Lowe. So half a point for Brigadoon and half a point for Fanciulla del West by Giacomo Puccini. It's a great show if you've never seen it. It's Wild West opera. Who thought? And question 9 and question 10, I played you two pieces where I wanted the composer of the piece of classical music I was playing you and the song that had been inspired by it. So the first was Ravel. It was his Bolero, famously danced to by Torval and Dean. And Lloyd Webber himself has admitted to taking some inspiration for Memory. So not as similar as some of them, I don't think, but still similar enough. And number 10 was Mendelssohn's, his violin concerto, that one, which is very, very similar to I don't know how to love him, what to do, how to move him. I thoroughly recommend you Google Kit and the Widow. You too can write a great West End score. They will prove all of these to you, and I am indebted to them for this round of the quiz. I asked you about vitamins. The first one that was required for manufacture of DNA was recommended in pregnancy. That was my big clue, I think, found in lots of things. That's folic acid or folate. So if you put that, you can have the mark. It's also B9, vitamin B9. Then for question 12, I asked you about a vitamin required for the synthesis of the proteins required for coagulation. It's vitamin K. It's given to newborns routinely. But it's vitamin K for coagulation. It was discovered by German scientists. Their word for coagulation begins with a K. But also, at the time, there were already vitamins E, F, G, H. I don't know if there was ever an I, but then J, that have since been debunked or reclassified as other things. So everyone went, yeah, you can have K, despite the fact that it's strange spelling of coagulation. So anyway, question 12, K, vitamin K. Question 13, necessary for the immune system and good vision. It's the one in carrots and all things orange. Carrots, butternut, squash, pumpkins, also leafy greens, butter, eggs. That's vitamin A, it's retinol. And various other related chemicals to retinol. But retinol as in your retina. Necessary for good vision. Question 14, the one that, strictly speaking, we no longer classify as a vitamin because we can make it ourselves. One of the things that makes a vitamin, one of the defining characteristics, is it's something you have to take in, you have to eat in order to survive. It's necessary for life. So there are certain things that used to be referred to as vitamins, like vitamin S, for example, was salicylic acid, which is the active ingredient in aspirin. But it's not necessary for life. It's necessary for life without a nasty headache, potentially, but it's not necessary for life. So it's been declassified as a vitamin. Vitamin D, we can manufacture in our skin with exposure to sunlight. But it's also found in all of those things: mushrooms, eggs, liver, oily fish. So the answer to 14 was vitamin D. And question 15, the one with cobalt in, the complex vitamin. It's found in meaty things, eggs, shellfish, and in fermented plant products like tempeh. It's B12. It's the one that's quite difficult to get if you're on a vegan diet. You have to rely on fortified things and, like I say, plant products like tempeh, seaweed, things like that. And lastly, I asked you about the dance moves. An entrechat quatre is a leg move. I will attempt to demonstrate with my fingers. They jump and they do little twiddles and then they land again. I watched some very, very serious sounding videos being done by a French person where she very carefully and very certainly described what was going on. It made me quite frightened. I always found ballet class frightening. Anyway, entrechat quatre, legs. 17 is a plié, which just means a bend, and it's a bend of the legs. So again, legs that go like that sort of thing. That's not the greatest demonstration, but you get the idea. An arabesque involves both. That's 18. So 16 and 17, the answer was both legs. An arabesque, 18. An arabesque involves the back leg being up the way, and the arms are either there or there. So that's a both. That's the only one I'm demonstrating. Question 19, a rond de jambe. Clue is in the question. Jambe is leg, and it's a leg move. It's drawing little sort of either quarter circles or semicircles with one leg. Apparently you can do them in the air, someone told me the other day. I didn't know that. And lastly, question 20, pas de bras. It's just movements with the arms. Bras, again, means arm. So if you had French, you had an advantage there. So, those were the answers. Hope you're enjoying. Like I say, give us a subscribe, give us a like, pass it on to your friends. Who knows? There we go. See you next time.